Hey guys, it's Cheyenne from Gunner in Cheyenne on Camel. We're here with Stephen Wilson Jr. How are you? Welcome to the desert.
Cheyenne. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Is this the first time you've performed here?
It is. Yeah.
It is?
Not my first time in Arizona, but definitely my first country thunder.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Well, welcm.
Thank
It's
you.
hot today.
It is.
I honestly think this is the hottest day of the year so far.
Really?
And
Okay.
you get to experience that. So
All right, well,
you're welcome.
We're bringing the heat.
You're bringing the heat.
So no
I
pun
want to
intended.
say congratulations
Thank
because your first acoustic tour is sold out.
Thank you.
That is awesome. What is that like? How did you find out it was sold? It was sold out.
I guess my manager told me. Yeah.
He just gave you a call. He was like, "Hey, guess what? Sold out."
They got a hold of me. It happened pretty quick. It was like sold out way faster than I expected, and yeah.
That's awesome. Like, what does that feel like from an artist perspective?
It's wild because I really, in my mind, this wasn't really what I set out to do. It's a wild journey getting here. It's definitely not expected.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bit of a trip. It doesn't feel real sometimes, but then there's really quick, vivid moments where it's very much real.
I love that.
I kind of like intermix between real and not real. Like this can
I
be
feel like
real.
that's just the way to go through life.
Yeah, this is
on
really
the whole
real.
scale.
Yeah, I go from this is really real to this isn't real.
Yeah. Do you like when those moments hit where like when it really starts to sink in? Do you just sit and embrace it no matter what you're doing?
Yeah, that's what I try to do.
Yeah.
Just try to kind of just sit in it.
I feel like I would too. Like I would just be like, "Oh shit, this is my life."
Yeah, just kind of okay. I'm in it. Yes. But yeah, I enjoy it.
That's awesome.
And it's been a real blessing to me just to be able to play these songs. All the songs have been gifts, and all I've really done is give them away. So
love that. Speaking of songs, you have a song with Country Thunder alumni Haley Witters.
Yeah.
How did that song come about? Which I love, by the way. It's
Thank
a fantastic
you.
song.
American Gothic. It was Haley's idea. She approached me like right before the pandemic, like a couple weeks before it, and she said, "Hey, because I'm from Southern Indiana, she's from Iowa, we're
Right.
both cornfield kids," and she's like, "I have this idea for a song. I think we should write it, because she always loved the American Gothic painting. It's a man and a woman. She loved the dichotomy of that, and she's like, I think we should write it together and like basically paint that cornfield kid story the best we can." And she planted that idea, and then the pandemic happened, and we're writing on Zoom. We do a lot of Zoom writing during that period, and I had this chorus kind of running through my head, and I had to write with Haley the next day. And the chorus, I was just like, "Who's that guy?" But yeah,
That's you. They're talking about you over there.
But yeah, the chorus was just kind of something I came along when I was driving around, and we just so coincidentally were writing the next day. And I said, "Haley, that American Gothic idea, I think I might have a chorus or something, just something, a resemblance of a chorus." And then, she made it so much better. And then we just wrote the whole song, and it just, that was like, it was an easy write, even though it happened over Zoom. Like it happened completely a three-way write on computers, but because the story was so real to us, we were able to kind of overcome the digital threshold.
I love that. So you grew up in the rural southern part of Indiana. Was it weird going to Nashville? Because personally, I've never been to Indiana, so I don't really know what the landscape is like, but I know what Nashville looks like.
Yeah, well, Southern Indiana is it's kind of more Kentucky than Kentucky sometimes. It really is. We call it Kentuckiana, and but yeah, that area for me was honestly felt very Southern. And my mom, she lived, while I grew up, she lived in Smyrna and Murfreesboro area, just like an hour outside of Nashville. So I spent a decent amount of time in Tennessee driving through Nashville to go see her. And it's really not a long drive. It's like a 3-hour drive. And we always drove through Nashville, and I always just would go by it. And I was like, I feel like all the songs are there. Like, all the songs that really affected me growing up, like I felt like they were happening there. And I just, I really moved there just to be adjacent to it.
Yeah.
Like by proxy kind of protocol. I moved there to be a scientist, and I was good at science, so I went to school there. That kept me there, kept me out of my hometown from going back to working in a shop or something. And but I went there to be a scientist, but I really went there to just get close to songwriting, and get close to music. I hope that some of it might, I don't know, be contagious or something.
I love that. I have a 7-year-old, and he wants to be a scientist.
Oh, good for
And
him.
his godmom is actually a neuroscientist.
No way.
Yeah, so it is fascinating to me to hear people who wanted to be scientists and then chose not to do it in a completely different direction.
Well, I did it for a while. I did it for 10 years of my life,
Okay, that's
professionally.
not on
and
Wiki.
so I got to experience the whole thing. I loved it. It was a great job, and I still use a lot of those processes. And that mentality comes into play a lot.
That's
even
really
with
cool.
what I do now. So.
I love that. So you have a song called Cuckoo.
Yeah.
I want you to know that we're playing it on Camel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we've been playing
Thank
it
you.
all week, jamming it.
Aw.
I love this song.
Thank you.
Why? Why Cuckoo? Where did it even come from?
Yeah. Well, I wrote this song with Jeffrey Steele and Travis Meadows, and I was on my way to write there, and I was coming out of a gas station, and I like to buy some mixed nuts while I write songs, and like a mixed variety. And I was walking out with my mixed nuts, and this construction dude stopped me, and he said, "Steven," because that's my name. I just stopped, and he goes, "Steven Tyler." And I go, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, dude, I'm so sorry, my bad. I thought you were Steven Tyler for a second." And I was like, "Dude, you thought I was like a 75-year-old rock star?" I was like, "Whoa." And he's like, "No, dude, seriously, my bad.
Yeah.
I thought you were young Steven Tyler, like from back in the day, Steven Tyler." And I was like, "Well, the only way for that to have worked was for me to be a time I would have to be a time traveler. I'd be Steven Tyler, the time traveler." And we agreed to disagree that I was not Steven Tyler, and he walked about his day. And I went and wrote that song like literally right after, because it kind of just disintegrated my brain and my reality. And that song was just kind of a, Travis had kind of an opening line for it, and it kind of fell out from just the craziness. But what really keeps me up at night, I gotta say, is what are the chances of my name being Steven?
Yeah.
So that's what really got him for a second when he stopped and said Steven.
And you were like,
I was like, yeah. And he's like, "Oh my God, I found him." Like, I mean, you have to think that that's what he thought for a second. I don't know.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I'm very jealous of his joy.
Yeah, that's a fascinating story, and I love
That's
that.
where it came from.
You're out on tour with Brothers Osborne right now.
Correct.
First of all, we love Brothers Osborne. We're
too.
big fans of them. They're friends of the show. What have you learned from Brothers Osborne while being on tour that you're going to take with you on your sold out acoustic tour?
They're just so, I don't know, they're just so genuine, and they're so gracious to the fans and just gracious to the whole crew around them. They've just been a real role model for me in the writing room and on stage, because I actually met them in writing rooms. We actually wrote songs together, and so they're actually the first artist to ever bring me on tour. I had like one song out. I didn't have a manager. I had nothing going for me, so I'm like eternally grateful to them. Just personally, like I really owe them a debt of gratitude for that, because they had no reason to take me out, and they did just because they wanted to, and so that's the kind of people they are, and I just kind of want to pay that forward, and just be real with the audience. And they're such great performers, and I learn a lot from them as showmen and just how they interact with the crowd. And,
I love that.
and I just love them to death. Their whole family.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Great humans.
Well, Steven Wilson Jr., thank you so much. Congratulations on your sold out tour.
Thank you, Shine.
Have a great Country Thunder performance, and welcome to Arizona.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you for
welcome.
having me.